here to find you and I alive. Oh, tonight is a sign you and I are alive. Thank you, thank you.
Well, this is an amazing sight. I wish you could all see yourself. It's just amazing to have us all be in one spot and be together. It feels fabulous. And so today is one of those transition moments. It's the end of the month, and the theme of the month was spirituality, spiritual living through transformation and evolution. And it's the beginning of a new beginning for us as a community. And it's May Day tomorrow, which is really something fabulous to celebrate. So we have a lot of new things happening. I'm really glad you're here. Many of you probably came for the annual meeting. Yes? How many people came for the annual meeting? All right, great. Come back next week too. We love you being here. In fact, it's because of you that we're here. And we can be more together. So there's that. I love that line in the song that Jarrett just did, which is about how it seems to be falling apart, but it's really bringing us one step closer to this space, this state of consciousness. And I remember hearing some minister say something clever like, well, it's really falling together by appearing to fall apart. And so, I've had moments like that in my life. Haven't you? Yeah. And so the real deal is, what do we do in those moments when it's appearing to fall apart? How do we be in that moment? Do we fall apart with it? Very tempting. I have many times. Maybe you haven't, but I know for me it's not much fun to follow into the falling apart part. But if we can remember that actually we can fall together at any instant, anything can wake us up. I know it used to be loud. I don't know what happened. I'm not going to talk about any of those things. So today is the joy of living. And honestly, I have said for probably 7-8 years, I love my life. I remember once I was in a church somewhere in Northern California, and the ministers there were kind of beleaguered, and there was a lot of kind of challenge in that church, and I was walking by, and somebody said something. I said, I love my life, and the minister said, oh, I want to be able to say that. And the thing is, we can. It's a choice. And so today's message about joy is really about joy is our natural state. When we remember who and what we are, then we experience joy. That's why we go to practitioners, to remember who and what we are, and to remove all the stuff that's gotten in the way that has us forget. So recently I've discovered joy. And what I've discovered is that as I learn to risk and to be vulnerable enough to be myself, then I feel joyful. There's something very, very powerful about just being ourselves as we are, not as how we wish we would be or how we weren't, but how we are, with all of our little ups and downs and wrinkles and warts and everything, and our secret joys, our secret hopes and dreams. And the more we can let ourselves authentically be that, the more joy we have. So, oh, look at that baby. Oh, God. Who misses babies? I'm so glad we have one with us today. All right, this is a wonderful service, and to just set it into the context, we have a spiritual leader, Dr. Ken Gordon. He's been here. Many of you have met him. He's an amazing man, and he has a way to speak the truth that is so inviting and so allowing for us to see ourselves and make a choice to be more, to have a new beginning in our life. And so everything about today is inviting this newness to be known. So let's let Dr. Ken usher in the rest of the talk.
Hi, Reverend Dr. Ken Gordon, spiritual leader for Centers for Spiritual Living, continuing on with our themes for the month of April for our theme Sundays based on the values of Science of Mind. The theme today, or the theme this week, is for April 30th, and it's written by Reverend Angelica Taggart, and it's perfect the way that it's set up because it's called The Joy of Living. The one thing that we know in the Science of Mind is that life is good, and life is joyful. I don't know whether or not I could get up every morning if I wasn't expecting some greatness to take place, something wonderful to happen. And just the mere act of being is enough to see that. When I look around and things are a little bit challenging for me, or there's a little bit of frustration in my life, all I have to do is move my mind to seeing the joy and the beauty in life, and it transforms me. And it's easy to find because I will share with you, and I bet you this is the truth for you as well as it's the truth for me, 99% of the things that I see and experience in the world are based on joy and beauty. The 1% that perhaps isn't has an ability within me at least to expand so that it looks like my whole life. But the simple fact is that when I surrender that, when I forgive that, I can see the magnificence and the beauty. Furthermore, we know that as we concentrate and focus on that, what it does is it brings and attracts into our experience more and more things to be joyful about. What we put energy to becomes our reality, it becomes our experience. So if you're finding yourself putting energy towards something that's negative, I'll share with you that the way to rise above it is to stop looking at it from the negative point of view and start feeding the energy of the greatness and the goodness that's around you. Human beings are magnificent. Wilderness and nature is spectacular. Our very way of life is exceptional. And we have the opportunity to embrace this. And when we see it more than we see the negativity, what happens is it grows as opposed to that which we might be frustrated with or angered with. Dr. Holmes said, on page 194 of Love and Law, instead of losing a sense of a personal God, you will actually gain a sense of one. He said also in Love and Law, we have taken away from the limits of God through a process of reasoning which proves that God knows nothing outside itself and that every act that takes place is some act taking place in your mind. In Love and Law, you also write, every act in life is normal. Get over any idea of any attempt at being abnormal. He says, don't limit this thing. Grow big inside, get over the little thoughts, the little concepts, and comprehend more. We all want to experience the joy of living. When we feel overwhelmed in the midst of negativity, we might even call out to God and say, fix this, please. So who is this God that we're asking to fix things for us? In our tradition, we know it to be divine energy, and that divine energy is ever present and always available. The minute we sit and still ourselves, it infuses who we are. The minute we turn our consciousness to it, our attention and our intention to it, it infuses us with its light and its power. This is the beauty that is life around us, and it is why life can be chosen to be joyful as opposed to chosen to be frustrating or small. What we do in Science of Mind, and what I want you to do, is I want you to live a joyful life. And in order to do that, it requires that you stop looking at the dark and start looking at the light. Stop looking at the negative, start looking at the positive. Stop looking at the pain and start looking at the joy. Please know that you're loved and that you're honored. God bless you.
Yes. Yes. You know, when Dr. Ken says to stop looking at the dark and look at the light, it doesn't mean ignore the pain. It doesn't mean pretend you're not feeling what you're feeling. What it means is don't focus there. Understand, last week we talked a lot about that. We talked about the importance of knowing where we are in order to transform to where it is we want to be. And he even used that magic little 99 number. Remember last week? 99.99999% of everything is empty space. Maybe it's pure consciousness. Maybe it's God. So in that 99 is pure joy. That's what Dr. Ken says. That's as good as an idea as I've ever heard. So we're not meant to pretend. But what we are meant is to know that with a greater idea and a greater willingness, anything can change. We can, as Jarrett said as he introduced that song, we can use the dark to be the stimulation to transform ourselves. And it's imminently in our domain to do so. That's what this teaching is here for, to transform ourselves. So when we see ourselves, we go, no, let that go, or forgive myself. Or when you see yourself doing something great, go, wow, that felt wonderful. I love that. And that's not ego, that's joy. When you're in your zone and you're doing your gift and you're giving that gift, and it feels like you could lose track of time and completely. And you're just so in that present moment. That is joy. Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So, you know, there's so many creative people here, and all of us are creating all the time. And the essence of this talk is, and this message given to us by Science of Mind today, is that joy is our natural state. And at any moment, we can shift our attention from what was to what could be and make a better choice. So I have a diagram here that you will remember. We've been working with it all month. And so Raj is going to get that up somewhere for us to see. It's up. So it is. Oh, and I have this beautiful pointer I forgot to bring. It's so cool. It was my mother's. I don't know why. My mother had this long, beautiful red wooden pointer. But I've been carrying it around. I don't know why. Because it's part of her, you know, and this year she made her transition, and so I treasure those things that are so connected to her. So just imagine I have this beautiful red pointer, and I'm pointing over there at that wall, because the wall is the part that Dr. Ken was talking about and Jarrett was singing about, which is the way it was, the pain, the focus on what isn't working. And we've talked about that we must see it, recognize it, and recognize that at some level we've allowed it, we've invited it, we've created it by some quirk in our consciousness. And it's here for us to transform, which is really a way to grow our consciousness. So we can celebrate those little quirks, and we can say, I'm done with that. But we can't just say I'm done and then everything is, you know, hunky-dory. We have to get off the wall and onto the path, which is the choice to go further towards the joy of living life fully. And as we get on the path, there's these steps that are ahead of us. So we don't just get on and everything is suddenly all transformed. We have to change our patterns. And some of those patterns are as old as we are. Some of them have been in our family for generations. You know, morphogenetic field and all those kind of scientific things. So if we've got patterns we want to transform or that limit us, Well, it's those little steps that can do it. But we have to choose to walk up those stairs. And those steps begin with self-awareness. Who am I? How am I showing up? Is it leading me to joy? What are the consequences of who I'm being? And where is it guiding me? And if it is not leading me to the glory of that sunrise, if it's not leading me to a world of pure possibility, then I'm either stuck or going backwards. And I don't want to stay stuck or going backwards. I want to go further. I want to grow, and so do you. Otherwise, you'd be playing golf or watching it on TV. But we're not, for goodness sakes. We're right here, and that says to us that we are on this path and we are ready to learn and grow. So the steps are whatever you decide. Pick up a packet if you haven't done so yet and see what the clues are all the way along this path. Because it's designed, John Mazziotti was divinely inspired when he created this image for me. Because once you make those decisions, each one of those steps is a choice to transform. And once you make those choices, the life in you, the living presence in you, the impulse for greatness within you gets you going further. It's what pulls you forward on the path. I mean, if we really can come to trust that the truth of our being is we are filled with this creative life energy that is following our consciousness and that anything is possible. If we really know that, then we'll walk up those stairs, and I know we are. We're doing that. All of us in our own way are on this path. But really, you know, in the song that Rick's been singing after the beautiful readings, in fact, I just want to stop and say, this service has been so lovingly prepared for us by so many people. And I want us to give thanks for that. And this little baby is just clapping her hands over that. Isn't that just amazing? That is so cool. And we think they're the ones that need to learn. So this service has been prepared. Why? Why do you think we do this? Why do you think this service is here? This service is here to support the mutual growth that we learn as we choose to be in harmony and in community. Everything that's done, the prayer, the reading, the music, the message, those lights. Raj, you know I don't like it that bright. I had a great meeting with Raj this week, and we played with all these lights to find something that worked for him and worked for me. I mean, that's really collaboration. It was so cool. So the point is that once you're on those stairs, then life is following you. You know, the points that you make, the statements and the energy that you emit is instantly responded to by life. You don't have to do 40 years of therapy. You don't have to. Therapy's not a bad thing. I've done it, but not for 40 years. I don't need to do it for 40 years. I need to feel the light. And to feel the light, I need to empty the slop bucket, get off the wall, get on the steps, and get moving. And when we know that our nature is light, our nature is pure consciousness, it pulls us. Then we start noticing all the things around us that are here to support us. I have so much support. But when I fall into my little self, I think, I don't have the support I need. Have you ever felt like that? And when I rise above that and transform that little thought, I see all the ways life supports me. How every Sunday Rick picks the perfect music. How the reading that Reverend Linda does, it moves me to tears. And how happy I am we have a bulletin and we're not doing announcements so that we can spend more time in sacred service. You know, it's just so beautiful. And that the guest musicians sing exactly the message. I mean, Susan said today, a preacher in the making, So everything is here to support us. I have a roommate from heaven. I honestly do. She finds things in the paper she knows I would like, and she puts them on my side of the table. I mean, there's so many ways life supports us. Gordon and Golda loaned me the best gliding rocking chair I've ever sat in. And you can sit in it too. It's in my office. And I've had 2 or 3 meetings this week where the guests sat there. And it really, yes, you were one of them. And it makes you feel good. So life supports us when we step onto the path of the thing it is that we want. We are fully supported. And so we can experience that, and that is joy. Yes? Yes. So just to summarize it, our nature is joy. The foundation of that is that we are designed as creative beings, that we can expand our consciousness, and that all is known to us in this one mind. So that's the foundation. Oneness with God and all there is. And where that leads to is a world of pure possibility. What does joy mean to you? What is it that's in your heart that wants to expand and express? Now, Jarrett's talking about his one CD, but he's been, as Rick said, really busy. We've been talking about having lunch for 3 months, and he's coming and going, or I'm coming and going. But there's a passion in him, and he said yes, and now it's unfolding. And it's so perfect. And that we have to let go of the doubt that we don't have the support we need, and what if it's too late, and what if they don't like it, and what if they don't like me, and we have to let all that go, and we have to choose. We have to say thank you to life for making me the way I am. We have to say thank you to all the difficulties and all the transformative moments, and know that I am just right now. And go for it. Be vulnerable, risk, ask, try it, put your feet out, step into it. Get on the path. And what's holding us is a divine presence that knows no opposite to itself. So within each of us, there is a power and a presence by whatever name you want to call it. And no matter what you're experiencing, it's bigger than that. It's more powerful than that. And all we need to do is shift our attention from what isn't to what could be. And get on that new direction. And let that new beginning begin. And life truly is amazing. And truly joyful. So your assignment this week, besides coming today to the annual meeting and letting your voice be heard, your assignment is to ask yourself, what does joy mean to you? Is there some way you could use it? Some way that it would enrich your life if you can get to it? And think about that path. And know where you are, and ask for support if you want it. But know that no matter what, you are beautiful. No matter what, you are perfect right now. No matter what. That's the medicine. That's the spiritual medicine. And it's true. So celebrating ourselves and our diversities is a wonderful thing. And learning to see each other as we are and allow each other to be who they are without any judgment is a joyful, joyful thing. And I'm learning about that. And I give thanks to everything in my life that's brought me to this moment and to you, because I am moved deeply by you and by this teaching and this moment. So I invite the practitioners to join me. Oh, come on, Christopher, just stand up. Come on, Lynn. These are people that know the truth about us. These are people that know the truth about all of us. So use them. What a gracious, wonderful thing it is. So I give thanks for this service so far today. It has been uplifting. It has been moving. And I give thanks for the invitation that this service has been to me and to each of us to get on down that road, to find our spot and give it the best we've got. As the reading said, you can wake up in the morning and give thanks. And that sets you in the perfect direction. And so I give thanks for every speck of service that has happened here today. And there are countless people who have created this service for us. I give thanks for the overflowing, abundant energy of love and service that is in this community. Whether it's getting the building in order and making it clean and nice, or selling the CDs and books, or making the coffee, or bringing the cookies, or being with the children, being a teacher, being a practitioner, praying together, singing, reading, holding high watch, bringing yourselves and your willingness and readiness to transform and evolve. And together, honest to goodness, together we are creating a new beginning in this community. And we are moving towards the light of possibility. And I give thanks for this. And I know we are each blessed by this. And as we give, we receive. As we give to each other, we empower others to give. And this is a great movement of energy. So I say thank you, life. Thank you for every bit of it that is part of our community. It's a blessed, blessed thing. So allow yourself to give and receive the blessing of this awareness. We are in the right place at the right time. And the light is shining and getting brighter. So I just let it be so. I don't take it back and get afraid. I let it be so. And together we say, and so it is.